Hi and welcome to yet another video. My name is Cynthia Wakio, the Communication and Events Manager at Corporate Staffing Services. And I don't know about you, but I have been in a panel interview and it was the longest day of my life. To cut the long story short, that's why I'm here to discuss the topic on how you can handle a panel interview. I am joined by Mary Amondo, our interview coach, who is going to be elaborating more on this topic. Welcome to this video.
Thank you, Cynthia. I like the way you're saying it was the longest day of your life.
It was. I didn't expect to meet so many people interviewing one person, and I just gave up. I think that's why I'm here now, so that we can help other people to get their next jobs, hopefully.
I know.
Yeah.
Panel interviews can be nerve-wracking sometimes, especially if the candidate had not done a lot of preparation, meaning they didn't expect the kind of how the interview is going to be. So yeah. I like the topic.
So in short, I did not prepare. I used to say I did not prepare because I think I did. But anyway, so how do you best prepare for one?
Interesting. So from the time you get a confirmation, or rather an invite for an interview, it is one of the best practices is to get to find out. Nothing prevents you as a candidate to find out how is the interview structured.
Yeah.
Is it, how many people am I most likely to meet in the panel? If it is more than one person, how is their profile looking like? That will help you when you're doing your preparation, industry research, and also it will come in handy even in terms of preparing the right kind of questions for the panel. Because if the panel is made up of people from different departments, maybe you are interviewing for a business development role, so chances are high the business development manager could be in the panel, maybe we would have an HR, we would have a communications and events manager perhaps. Getting to know the profile of the kind of the people who will be in the panel is already a plus for you at the preparation stage. Another thing that a candidate can do when preparing for a panel interview is to be emotionally prepared. What do I mean by being emotionally prepared? You are going to meet an audience of more than one person. Sometimes it can be so nerve-wracking. Maybe you are not used to speaking to a bigger audience. You are more comfortable with one-on-one conversations. How about now you have more than two eyes looking at you for 30 minutes? How are you going to handle it? So you have to be emotionally prepared for that. When also it comes to panel interview preparation, it is very important for you as a candidate to be self-aware in terms of your body language, because body language during interviews is more on, apart from the right sitting posture, more on the eye contact and the voice that really comes in handy. So if you're not just going to have a conversation with one person, meaning all these people who are in this panel will have to make a decision at the end of the day in terms of how I performed. And what makes them to be part and parcel of my conversation throughout the interview session is my ability to maintain eye contact with all of them, and also to ensure that I am audible enough whenever I am speaking so that they can hear my articulation clearly, so that they don't also keep distracting me whenever I am giving my responses to the interview questions. So when it comes to the eye contact, maybe to just build on that a little bit, candidates normally wonder, how do I maintain eye contact? Because it goes without saying, the person who will ask me the question will be maintaining that with me 100%. They are more keen on what the approach I am giving to their question. But now for me as a candidate, I need to maintain eye contact with them at the very beginning, just to act as an affirmation that I have understood their question and I'm ready to give it a shot. But then again, I need to move my eyes across the room so that every other person in that room is not distracted, especially when I am the one giving the responses. And of course, raising your voice or being audible does not mean that you shout during the interview, but you become intentional. So there are people who are naturally calm, and it calls for you to be self-aware and know how to project your voice and ensure that you're speaking to the person at the farthest corner in the room.
Yeah.
Another thing that you can do when preparing for a panel interview, sometimes candidates, we assume that because we had already sent the application, the interviewers have our CVs. It is a good practice for you as a candidate to carry copies of your CV. And that is why I said it is important to know how many people are in the panel, so that you ensure you have at least a copy for each. Don't find yourself in a worst case scenario whereby one of the panelists does not have a copy for one reason or the other, and they ask you to provide one and you don't have it to present it. So it shows how well organized and planned an individual you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also prepare lots of questions for the panelists. Don't find yourself in an interview where you have you're being interviewed by a panel, and that question of, do you have any questions for us? And you are not prepared a question. And sometimes the question we had prepared is not even role specific. So the interviewers, the panelists find it difficult. They start to wonder, did you really take time to prepare for this session?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are some of the areas that you really need to work on as a candidate when preparing for a panel interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As mentioned, there are different people in that room, probably from different even departments, people who may not even understand the jargon of the field, or rather the role you're applying for. Then how do you ensure that you effectively communicate with each interviewer in the room?
Well, I personally like panel interviews because this is the opportunity that you have as a candidate to demonstrate your effective communication skills.
Yeah.
So one of the ways to ensure that you communicate effectively with everyone within the room is to exude confidence, number one.
Yeah.
Ensure that the panelists can see that you are very confident in whatever it is that you are saying. Even if that is not their area, their field, but the fact that you are exuding confidence, they can see the energy, the enthusiasm coming from you, they will automatically conclude that you understand the subject that you're speaking about. And then another thing that you can do to communicate effectively with everyone in the panel is to be intentional in terms of reading the emotions of the interviewers or the panel and show empathy. Show that you are concerned, you care about that position and what it takes to excel in the role. So empathy comes a lot in handy during panel interviews for you to be able to be seen as an effective communicator. And over and above you being able to show that you are actively listening, there's a way you can be sitting, the sitting posture, and it should be accompanied by things like you're nodding your head, to show that you are actively listening, you are giving everyone attention. Of course, we still come back to eye contact, especially when you are responding. Ensure that everybody is on board to your conversation, and that will affirm to the panel that this is the right candidate that we are looking for. Yeah.
I feel like the stakes are very high for such an interview setting. So I think those tips are really come in handy. So as we wrap up, do you have any additional tips in regards to the topic we're talking about?
Well, just the way you've said, stakes are more high for panel interviews because one thing with panel interviews, again, it helps the organization to work on time, to cut on time. What I'm trying to say with the time is that they don't want to take so much time on the interview process.
Yeah.
So that is why they feel the need to have all the decision makers on board during the interview, so that they are able to make their decisions in terms of the right candidate that is fit for the position. So the final tip I can speak about when you're preparing for a panel interview is to always remember to show respect to everyone in that interview room, because as much as we encourage you to get to know their profiles, chances are high maybe there is one or two people in there that you had not known, you are not aware they'll be part of the panelists. And what do I mean by showing respect? The way you approach each and every question and treating each and every question that is coming from each and every individual, giving them the same energy, the same care, the same attention.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if anyone in the panel feels like you didn't do justice to their question, or maybe you exuded a different kind of attitude when responding to that, then it will definitely work against you, because all of them have to make a decision at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. I'd actually not thought about it like that. Yeah, you have to be very consistent throughout the process. All right. I do not have anything else to add. I think Mary has done it so well, elaborating on how you can approach a panel interview. And if you'd like professional help, you have an upcoming interview, Mary will be here to help you. And for more information on how you can access that service, we have a link below. See you in the next video next week. Bye.